guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids in our 12th year homeschooling this year. Usually I don't start videos top down like this. However, I did just receive my 2023 Powersheets goal planner in the mail. Currently, when I'm filming this, it is launch day. These are available right now for you to order. This is the second time I'm filming this video. Typically, what I do is I will go through the Powersheets with you on camera and give you my first thoughts. And I was doing that. However, there was a lot different in this Powersheets goal planner for 2023, and it really threw me off. So I stopped filming, and now I am going to refilm it with a little less wonder in my voice, I guess you could say. So I have the bluebird cover. It is still that linen cover, that hard cover that they have. It is on the gold O-ring still. It has the gold corner protectors. When I opened it up, the first thing that really shocked me was the size. This is significantly smaller than this. And this one from 2022 was quite a bit smaller from the 2021 version, which I think is I'm going to say it's my favorite version that they've done, because they had the action plans in the quarterly refresh, which I really miss, and I've talked about that in my goals videos already. I will leave my playlist for that if you're interested. It did come in this nice hard box. It's a good keepsake box, or if you want to keep things in it. So we are going to get started. I have my coffee here. It's a maple latte, in case you're wondering. So delicious. We have a new, this is totally, has nothing to do with Powersheets at all, but we have a new coffee shop in town, and they make a maple latte. And I got that one time and decided I love maple lattes, and I had no idea why I never tried one before. We live in Maine. There's a lot of maple syrup here. So, okay. Total tangent, sorry guys. So when you open it up, you do have this little garden arches, I think that's the name of it, design on the pocket. This is another cover design. There are 5 cover designs. The planner, this yearly planner, is $62. They have brought back the My Word of the Year card, which everybody was really disappointed about not having last year. I'm glad that they have this again. You have your 2023 at a glance calendar, which I think is really nice if you want to display that on your desk. And then some holidays, not all the holidays, but a good number of holidays on here. The second big change for this year is the stickers. There's only this little teeny sticker sheet, which is significantly less than in years past. Last year there was 1 full sticker sheet. This is significantly smaller than what has been in years past. I don't use a lot of stickers, so that's not a huge deal to me, but I know that some people that might be a thing for them. It does have this little cardboard protector, cardstock protector. Hello Fresh Start 2023, this cultivated year belongs to. Another thing right off the bat is the tabs. The tabs are the same as the season by season planner, the daily planner that Cultivate What Matters came out with. I do have a review of that planner. I think it's quite nice if you're looking for a daily planner. I am not a fan of these tabs. I don't think that they go with my cover choice, and I'm definitely missing the bright colors that are typical of the Powersheets. That was another thing. As I was going through in my first video, everything is very muted, more pastel, more tan, which I'm not a big tan person. I do like the gold accents, but I'm not a huge tan person. So if you are expecting the typical bright, vibrant colors in the Powersheets, they are not there this year. There is a lot of room for stickers and obviously color coding. I do a ton of color coding in my Powersheets and in my goal setting in general based on my different categories. So yes, that is another thing. So then you start with the prep work, and I went through the prep work once already, and I kind of tried to compare it to the 2022 prep work, which had been pared down from previous years. I thought it was quite a bit different. All of the main parts are there. Some of them are labeled a little differently, and so I didn't recognize them as the same sections that I've seen in previous years. I've been using Powersheets, I think, since 2014. So, and the prep work is one of the biggest reasons that I continue to come back to Powersheets. I don't think there's any other goal planner that has the level of prep work that the Powersheets has. And that has really helped me over the years narrow down my goals and come up with good action plans to complete those goals. So the prep work is very important to me. I'm not sure it's enough prep work, but I know that I may be in the minority. I love a good reflection. I've talked about this in many videos. I love to look back and see what went well, where there were challenges. I pretty much do that quarterly, and I do it monthly in my homeschool planning and with my kids in our monthly conferences for homeschool, because I like to stay on top of things. It really helps me feel like I'm constantly moving forward when I'm doing that. So I love a good reflection. I know that some people, it's very difficult to answer some of these questions and you don't know what the quote unquote right thing to put is. But I've been journaling and goal setting since high school, which was a couple of decades ago, I will say. So I have been goal setting for a very long time and have some systems already. This helps narrow down my focus. The prep work does. It's a little bit different this time. When you purchase the Powersheets, you do get exclusive access to Goal School. I have not really utilized Goal School. I think it came out maybe 2020, potentially 2021. I can't quite remember when it came out. There is all kinds of videos that help you go through the prep work. There are wildcard pages that you can download and print out for yourself. And I believe there is a Goal School Premium, which may have more information, more videos, etc. That is an added purchase, but just the basic Goal School is available with the purchase of your Powersheets. Your fresh start begins here. Welcome to a whole new way of doing life. Uncover what matters, break it down, live it out. We're with you each step of the way. Here's to an intentional year ahead together. Cultivate to break up the soil in preparation for new growth, to tend, to grow. And then you're going to move into your brainstorm section. So this is a place where you can write down some ideas of things that you may want to work on in the year ahead. Oh yes, one other thing that I wanted to mention is sprinkled throughout the planner are these core truths, which are things that the Cultivate team has been sharing with the Powersheets community for many years now. And so there are these little quotes throughout all of the pages. There is no big quote or tabbed page at the beginning. It is just dot grid, and you will see a lot of dot grid throughout the Powersheets this year. I don't know if that must be to encourage you to use the space for whatever you need it for, or you can obviously tape in wildcard pages or whatnot. Then you're moving into break free from distractions. Core truth: distractions wither with clarity. Where does comparison sneak into your life? So you're going to see where are you trying to compare your life to others, and then what's holding you back. Clear up the distractions in your life. Make some lists of things that are holding you back, whether that is an internal or an external, whatever is weighing you down, you can use this page to brainstorm that. Then this next section, come alive again, naming what matters changes everything, what you're willing to sacrifice for. For me, it is all about family and relationships. That is my most important thing. My relationship with God and my relationship with my husband and my kids, those are the things that matter most to me. And so I look at all of my goals through the lens of family, essentially. Then you're going to move into name what fires you up, to uncover your unique passions. What do you love? And they do give you some examples: being outdoors, generosity, time with family, seeing the ocean. This says reading inspiring books, but I would just say reading in general. Whether or not they're inspiring can be second place. As long as I'm reading, I'm happy. Delighting someone unexpectedly, travel, more dot grid space. Personally, I am not a huge dot grid fan. You can write whatever you want here or doodle. Then the next section is learn from the past, reflection reaps rewards. I already talked about how much I love reflection. This section is smaller than it has been in years past. In years past, it has been a 2-page spread with good things and gratitude, and then challenges and what I learned. I wish that this had a little bit more space because, like I said, I love a good reflection, and even though there's several lines, it's not really enough space for me to deep dive on these things. Now, every year I always have a little notebook that I pair with my Powersheets, and this is really a brain dump notebook. I will start writing ideas of things that I want to work on in 2023 now when they come to mind. So I'm not thinking about them in the day-to-day, and I can continue to focus on 2022 while we're still in 2022. But I think because this section is so small, I will end up moving a lot of this information into my notebook for 2023 as I'm going through the prep work. Now, I think there are a lot of great sections in here. I'm not sure there's enough space in some of those because I'm very wordy. I love to write and have a lot of writing. It's how I process everything. So I know that for me, this isn't enough space, but that's why I just have a little notebook, and that is very helpful. Then you're going to move into the Cultivated Life Evaluation. Now, my struggle with the 2022 Powersheets was how they changed their goal setting process, in my view, to funnel everything through these 8 categories, because I never treated these 8 categories as my goals categories. I may have had some goals that may be finance related, but I never really thought of this Cultivated Life Evaluation as a way to set goals in specific areas of my life. That is probably because I've been setting goals for so long, and I have predetermined categories that I work in pretty regularly. Like one that obviously wouldn't be on here is homeschooling. That is a huge area of my life that I do write a lot of goals in each year, and I use my Powersheets to work on those homeschooling goals. So I have always used this section just to sort of check in these different areas, and then give myself a rating as to how I feel about things. And then if it prompts me to work on something in a specific area, I can, but I've never used these to filter my goals before. I try and remove a lot of the boxes of you need to have a goal in this category, you need to do a goal this way, this is the type of goal that you're going to do. I like a lot of structure, but when it comes to the actual writing of the goals, I don't want to be forced into a specific box. So that I had to say that, but they did adjust some of these category names, and I think that that is going to be helpful for a lot of people. So the categories that they have now are community, family, finances, fun and recreation, health and wellness, home and spaces, spiritual and personal growth, work and learning. And in previous years, it was health and wellness, friends, focal relationship, family, finances, spiritual, personal growth, work and learning, and recreation. So some of them are the same, some are a little bit different. They've taken away the friends category and the focal relationship category, and they've renamed them community and family, which I think is helpful. Not everybody has a focal relationship that they're working on, and community is a little bit larger to work within. I don't know how I'm going to use these categories this year because they are still filtering the goals through these categories. And like I said, I don't use these categories to set my goals. Cultivate your mindset. Core truth, change is possible. What has shaped your beliefs about your identity? And then rewrite your self-talk. I really like this section, changing negative self-talk into positive self-talk. So writing down the things that you have believed about yourself in the past and then changing those to make it a positive frame of reference for you, something that is positive instead of negative. Even if you have to work on something, changing the wording of how you think about that thing is going to make all the difference. If you constantly are telling yourself that you can't do something because of X, you're not going to do it no matter how many action steps you have set out in front of you, because you're still going to believe that you can't really do that thing. So the example here is I am bad with money, and that might become I am learning to manage my money. Or I am lazy and unorganized might become I'm learning to take care of my home. So they're using learning to sort of change that thinking a little bit. So it really just depends, but I like this section quite a bit. Name what matters. Legacies grow from one small seed. When you've named what matters, you can set goals that act as a compass, pointing you toward that vision and helping you live it out today. I've mentioned before that my big picture, the thing that is most important to me, are my relationships. So when I first started the Powersheets in 2013 or 2014, that was the big thing that stuck out to me, is that when everything else is said and done, the only thing that really mattered is my relationship with God and my relationship with my husband and my kids. Those are the focuses that I have in my life. And if those are good, even if we are struggling for whatever reason, that is going to give me the strength. So that's how I kind of look at my goals, to make sure that my goals are going to build up my relationships with my family, with God, and then more broadly with my friends and community. So what will have mattered, what won't have mattered. And then you're going to move into the big picture vision and living it out this year. This was a new section in 2022, and this is where I started to struggle with my prep work last year. What do you want in the big picture in each area of your life? And then now knowing what matters in the big picture, how can you live like it this season? So they are having you start to narrow down on what matters and how you can live out what matters, leading to setting your goals. So last year I did fill this section out, but it really didn't help me, and it was actually quite a challenge for me to figure it out, because I knew that the purpose behind these pages is to help you start thinking about goals, because then what they want you to do from back here, when you did your Cultivated Life evaluation, they want you to mark the 3 areas that you want to most grow in the new year, to try and help you narrow down your focus on goals. Same thing here. When you look at where you want to be and then mark the areas that you think are most important, you can compare it with your Cultivated Life evaluation and see if there's some similarities or differences in what you think you want to work on. Then another core truth, dreams become decisions when you cultivate them. Make decisions to own where you'll spend your time. The yes and the no list is so important. It's something that I have talked about at length on my website. And in my series right now, I just posted a post about making a yes and no list. I think it is so valuable to write down what you're willing to say yes to and what you want to say no to. And oftentimes, especially in the no section, it's almost like when you write it down, you are giving yourself permission to just make no a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. You do not have to explain why you're saying no. It might anger somebody if to not have an explanation, but it really isn't necessary. And sometimes we say yes out of obligation or because we feel like it will make the other person's life easier to say yes, even though we know personally that it's not the right yes for us. So taking the time to write down what you're willing to say yes to and what you're saying no to, I think is very, very valuable. Choose your focus. This is another thing that was new last year. They came up with 3 types of goals: habits, finish lines, and big dreams. Habits are repetitive behaviors that establish rhythms. Finish lines are shorter term goals and they are specific and measurable. And then big dreams are long-term goals, 3, 5, 10 years down the road. But I think that there's a lot of connection between all three of these types of goals, especially if you have some long range goals. You're going to need to have some shorter range goals to get here, but it's, for reverse engineering, you're looking at what do you want your life to be in 10 years? Well, what do you have to do in 5 years to get there, and in 3 years, and then in 1 year, and then quarterly and monthly and daily. So you work backwards to get to the right the right steps. That's kind of how action plans work for goal setting. And then it says, simplify your year by narrowing down what matters most in the season ahead. Dig in what habits, finish lines, or big dreams might help you live out your big picture vision in the year ahead. How could you combine them into yearly goals? Keyed to the Cultivated Life evaluation categories if you'd like. Brainstorm some ideas below and some more dot grid space. I do wish this was either a little bit more structured with lines and sections, or blank. That's just my personal preference. For truth, you are more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. I fully believe that. I think physically writing things down is so helpful. So helpful. The next section is to make a rough draft, to use what you've been given well. And this is just a section to write down some of your goals or goal ideas. This is not enough space for me to write my goals. And in fact, last year, let me see if I can find last year's section. Last year, they had just the title up at the top, and then they had all kinds of information down here to coach you through it. So they just had a small space for your rough draft, so you have a little bit more space here. But I know that I would still tape in a piece of paper to make it even, well, I don't know if you probably can't see it on the camera, but I would tape in a piece of paper here and just fold it up, because I like to put my categories and then I like to bullet all the different ideas that I have. Then we get to pace yourself for success, core truth: to everything there is a season. Focus on the first season, spread out your starts, consider your resources. And then they want you to kind of map out your goals and when you're going to work on them throughout the year. Last year, this page was a 2-page spread, which I think is actually a little bit better. I don't necessarily use this section, and I haven't in the past, because I actually write a lot more even when it was a 2-page spread. So I put it in this little notebook. I have like a January brain dump of all the things that I think I need to do in January, in February, and March. So you write your goal and then the different action steps maybe that you would want to work on within each season. Obviously, you don't work on every single goal every single month. But there are definitely times when you are working on a specific goal every month, and having enough space to put that information down is helpful. I'm not sure that this is enough space for that. Similar to that other section. Similar to this section, the good things, challenges, what I learned, gratitude. I feel like you could use a little bit more space to explore these different areas. I know that a lot of people struggle with the prep work and as much writing as there is, so obviously this might be really good for some of you. And then you're moving into your action plans. There are 8 action plans. What I want, write your yearly goal. Why are you motivated to achieve it? What resources are needed? What does success look like at the end of 2023? What might happen if you don't start or make progress on this goal? And how will you have fun with this goal along the way? What are some little rewards for steps in the right direction? Again, they want you to check off which area it would be in, using their 8 categories from the Cultivated Life Evaluation. And then this goal includes habits, finish lines, a big dream. And obviously you can check more than one. And then it has the what I will do, break your goal down, action ideas, etc. Before 2021, I feel like there was a little bit more guidance on this side of the page. This is very similar year to year, but this section, I feel like it's a little too open-ended for an action plan, especially if you don't know how to really set goals, or if you're struggling with wording and then reverse engineering your goals, like what is the first thing. This might be a little too open, but there could be, it does recommend going to Goal School, and there may be some printables or other ideas that will help you in this section. So there are 8 of these for 8 goals. Obviously, you can have more than 8 goals, you can have fewer than 8 goals. However you do it is completely up to you. Then make it easy to remember, make a list, look up definitions, post it, talking about your word of the year. I actually usually choose a word of the year before I set my goals. And typically the way that I have done this in years past is throughout the fall, there is some sort of word or phrase or idea or something that sticks in my mind, and I tend to filter my goals through that word. I've done the prep work on video the past couple of years, and I feel like I do have several blog posts about prep work starting, I think, in 2011. Prep work before I knew what Powersheets was, just how I was goal setting many years ago. If you're interested in that process for me, obviously it's changed over the past decade. But that could help give you some ideas on how I use my word of the year. I know that some people use it differently, and that's totally fine. And then visualize what's ahead to make it more likely you'll live it. You now know where you're going, so collage, sketch, paint, or sticker a vision for your year ahead. This is a vision board section. I do not ever do a vision board in my Powersheets. I always do a vision board with my kids right after Christmas, or like right usually when we start the new year in January. And I have a video about that I can leave in the description box, just on how I use vision boards in our homeschool planning. But that's also the time that I take to make my own vision board, and I do that with my kids as a representation of what a vision board ought to be. Now, you know, my kids range in age from 2nd grade all the way through high school, so their vision boards change quite a bit based on their age. And yes, but I don't have enough space here to write out what I want to do, because my vision board usually is a lot of words, not so much on the pictures. And then you're going to move into my yearly goals, and it has a place for the flags, which you can use these flag stickers to designate a color for each goal that you have if you want to. And then they do have a goal setting sticker book that you can use to coordinate as you're going through your tending list, which you'll see in just a minute, with these little dot stickers of the different colors. And they also have, well, I'm not sure what the new sticker book looks like. In years past, the sticker books have had hearts and other things that are color coded. So if you want to do that. Then it says customize these pages with the wildcard pages. And then you're moving right into January. Now, one disappointment that I had is that there's no like nice divider page with a quote on it. It's just a piece of paper, and I am slightly concerned that I will rip it. Probably not as likely because I'm not flipping through these pages constantly, but you know, I wish that they had a nice, bright, colorful page like this. I'm missing this just a little bit. These bright colors. Prepare well, important to-dos I'm excited for, on my mind, I'm hopeful that. The saying yes and saying no sections used to be on the monthly wrap up that they have at the end of the month, but now they have moved it to the start of the month, and I think that that's probably helpful to when you're making your tending list to have that right front and center instead of looking back at the previous month. Then you move into your monthly calendar. This is a dated calendar, unlike the 90-day Powersheets, which is undated. I don't use this monthly calendar because I have other calendars that I use, and I don't feel the need to use this for anything. Now, I know that a lot of people will track specific things or write deadlines for goals and that kind of stuff in here. And I know that if you don't have a ton to plan, just using a monthly spread would be great if you could do all of your planning. That is not me, so I don't use this, but because I use so many planners, I have to accept that I do not use every single section of every single planner, and I'm okay with it. Then a little note section. Brainstorm your month, monthly ideas, weekly ideas, daily ideas. This is the same as last year, although last year there were 2 vertical and 1 horizontal sections. So I like that they are all the same size like this, except they used to have these coaching pages at the beginning of January, which kind of walked you through how to set up a tending list. And that's missing. I think that that would be helpful to have. I'm sure that they probably have something in Goal School maybe to replace that. And then your tending list, this is exactly the same. You have 10 monthly action items, 6 weekly action items, and 7 daily action items or habits. It does have each day of the month, as well as whether it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And there is a little bit of separation between the weeks if that matters to you. Then you move to month in review, gratitude, good things, goals that are growing well, what's not working, what I read or listened to, favorite memories, and then you move right into February prepare well section. I really don't like this color. I wish that they just had blank or maybe just had an outline of the box if they were looking for something different to offset it from here. But honestly, I would have preferred to just have this grid instead of this color because I don't like this color and I don't think it really matches. But I've come to realize as I've gone through this now 2 times that the muted colors are just not my thing. And I know that some people love it, so that is just me. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that the tending list is perforated, so you can take this out if you want to post it somewhere in your house or if you want to put it in a different planner. I tend to just leave my tending list open on like a little display thing for planners. It's actually, I think, for a cookbook, but that's what I have done in the past so that I always see it when I go in and out of my office. So you move to February, it's the same layout for February, and then the same layout for March until right at the end you get to your quarterly refresh. So your quarterly refresh, they're going to give you the Cultivated Life evaluation. You're going to write what your previous score was from the beginning of the year in your prep work, where you think you are now, and jot down a little bit about each category. Now, I've always liked this section in years past. I don't use it really for thinking about my goals. I mainly use it as just sort of an update on how things are going in these different categories. And if there is something that I'm specifically working on that matches one of these categories, I may write it down. I've never really used it this way. but that's just me. Then you get to keep moving forward. Where have you seen the most growth? Which goals need more nourishment? What I'm saying no to this season, what I'm saying yes to this season, your refreshed goals if you want to change them, or what I usually do is I write down what I'm focusing on for the quarter ahead. So they're all related to my overarching yearly goals, but it's more of like a focused 90-day goal that I'm working on. And so last year in 2021, they had action plans with this quarterly refresh section. And that was so helpful to me to figure out where I wanted to focus and the different action steps that I needed for the next season. They don't have that section anymore. Instead, they have this plan for the season ahead, open space, open-ended, just blank. Well, this is blank and this is dot grid. So this is a little bit more challenging for me. They do have like the mini action plans printable in Goal School, but I did print them out and then I did not use them because it's not already bound into the book. I just don't tend to grab loose paper that I've printed off to work on the goals. And so you may be surprised at this, but what I did was I ended up doing my little mini action plans in this notebook, which again is separate from my goal planner, but kind of kept things all in one spot so that I could look back and see what I had been working on. I think that's very helpful. I am disappointed they didn't bring those mini action plans back, but I can understand that maybe it was a little too much for some people. Yes. So then you get to April, and that's how it's going to be throughout each season. They will have the refresh each quarter at the end of the previous quarter. So your summer refresh is going to be right at the end of June, I think. Yes. And then this is the same thing. Where have you seen the most growth? Which goals need more nourishment? What I'm saying no to, what I'm saying yes to. It's a little bit different than this year. I think that they've streamlined their process even more. When I say streamlined, I mean they removed a lot of things. There is no try this at home section or prep work refresh. But the rest is very similar. Yes. So then I guess each season has a new little color before it. Again, very pastel, muted colors. You get to your fall refresh, same thing, and then it's like, is this the same as, yeah, okay, it's the same. So it alternates between this peachy color and then the light blue. So you have your Prepare Well, your monthly calendar, Brainstorm your month, attending list, month in review, and then you move to the next month. And then at the end of the year, let's see. Yes, you have 2023 year in review, a place to write out a highlight from each month, which you can do as you're going through the months. And then this is just a memory page, favorite memory, best thing I read or listened to, best new habit, person I'm most grateful for, most memorable adventure, song on repeat, milestone celebrated, best meal or recipe, biggest change, most surprising goal progress, most beautiful sight I saw, best blank. And that is the end of the Power Sheets. So thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know what I'm going to do for 2023 for goals. Like I said, I've been using Powersheets since 2013 or 2014, and I have loved my journey with the Powersheets. I think that it streamlined my goal setting process so much. I still plan to do prep work in December. Whether or not I use the Powersheets or if I just create my own prep work, I'm sure I will share it with you. If you have questions about this planner, please let me know. I had hoped to get this before launch so that I could have it up on launch day so you could see my thoughts. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but yes. So this is the 2023 Powersheets Goal Planner. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.